With so much amazing physical media to be released in September of this year, this was not an easy list to make, but I managed to come up with your top 20 horror releases for September of this year. Let's get right into the list. Hey, how's it going? Welcome back to Movie Watch. My name is Justin. I hope you're having an awesome Sunday. It's good to have you back. Today, as I said in the intro, we are going to be taking a look at the top 20 Blu-ray horror physical media releases for September of this year, September 2020. There was so many releases coming out in September. I'm going to have to do a couple different countdowns. So this is going to be the strictly horror edition. Horror is my favorite genre, so I love talking about horror. And then I'll do just most anticipated. I have a steelbook list that I'm going to do, so definitely look in the playlist and look at my other videos and you'll find those. If this is your first time here, we do movie reviews, trailer reactions, physical media, nostalgia, just all kinds of stuff. Definitely take a look at my other videos. Today, like I said, the top 20 physical media releases. We're going to dive right in. Again, these aren't in any particular order. These are just what popped out most for me as far as horror releases. So first up, September 1st, Synapse Films is releasing a 3-disc limited to 6,000 edition of Living Dead at Manchester Morgue, the Spanish-Italian kind of zombie sci-fi horror movie. It was also known as Let the Sleeping Corpses Lie. This is going to go for $49.95, so this is a little bit higher. Their special editions do tend to be a little pricey, but their restorations are amazing. Like I said, it's going to be limited to 6,000. It's from a 4K restoration, but it's going to be presented in 1080p. So I wouldn't be surprised if we see another release of this down the line in 4K. A lot of the companies have been doing that, but this is a 1080 presentation from a 4K restoration from the original negative. It looks super cool. This has had an Anchor Bay release and a Blue Underground release a while back, but Synapse is doing their big deluxe treatment. So 3-disc, slipcover, and it's a steelbook. So I like it when the steelbooks come with the slipcover too. That's like a really premium packaging thing that I really like. So that's going to be coming out September 1st. Look forward to that. And like I said, my guess is a 4K release will be coming later down the line, maybe this year or next year. That's what a lot of these companies have been doing, especially Blue Underground. When they get these titles, they really try to milk them for as many releases as they possibly can. So next up, Terrified, the Shudder original. This is an Argentinian film originally released in 2017. Before I did this list, I popped it on Shudder to check it out because I hadn't seen it, and I watched about the first 20 minutes of, and I have to say, the opening scene to this movie was incredible. I had major like Hereditary vibes, a supernatural ghost story about this small town that's having issues with like paranormal activity and ghost activity. The direction and the opening scene, this I won't give away anything obviously, but there's a scene in a bathroom with this guy's wife that was like terrifying to watch. I can't wait to finish that movie. So definitely want to let you know that's coming out. That's going to be $15.99 at Diabolic. I get all my releases from Diabolic. Diabolic always packages their movies in boxes. They ship quickly. They answer their emails. They have fantastic customer service. So I always point people towards diabolicdvd.com. And next, moving on to September 8th, this set looks so cool. The Alfred Hitchcock 4K collection. This is going to have 4 movies included, and these are all 4K restorations. So we have Rear Window, Vertigo, Psycho, and The Birds. This is listed on, I didn't find this on Diabolic, but it is listed on Amazon for $64.99, which is a pretty good price for 4 movies at 4K. And the Psycho will also receive its own standalone steelbook, 4K steelbook. As of now, it appears to just be Psycho with the standalone edition, but I wouldn't be surprised if Rear Window, Vertigo, and The Birds also down the line have standalone releases. But for now, this is a 4-film collection, so super cool set coming out on the 8th. Also on the 8th is the Rob Zombie Firefly trilogy. Which will include, of course, House of a Thousand Corpses, Devil's Rejects, and 3 from Hell. This is a really cool looking steelbook. It's a Target exclusive. It may be sold out I think I saw that it is sold out, but you might be able to get it secondhand if you really, really want that Steelbook edition. If you really enjoyed 3 from Hell. I'll also say that there will be on the September 22nd, Umbrella Entertainment is releasing a region-free 2 from Hell, which has House of Thousand Corpses and Devil's Rejects and some really cool artwork. That's the one that I would get if I didn't own these. If you like 3 from Hell, that's awesome. Pick up that Steelbook. If you didn't care for 3 from Hell, which I know a lot of people were disappointed in that, I wanted to let you know that Umbrella Entertainment will be releasing just the 2-pack without 3 from Hell. Moving on to September 15th. Vestron Video is finally back. I am so stoked to talk about these releases. I went ahead and included both of these titles. Vestron 1 is not really a horror, but Shivers, David Cronenberg's debut feature film from 1976, will be released for $13.49. Also released as a 2-pack with Little Monsters with Fred Savage and Howie Mandel. You can pick up both of those releases for $23.99 as a 2-pack on Diabolic DVD. So definitely go to Diabolic and pick both of those up. We hadn't seen a lot from Vestron Video since their last release, which was a year or 2 ago, which was Stephen King's Maximum Overdrive. Everybody was kind of thinking the line was dead. I was really getting worried. I actually spoke with somebody who works on the special features for Vestron and a couple other companies, and they kept assuring me that the line is not dead, that releases were coming soon, and he couldn't tell me what the titles were, but now they're finally released. And he also told me there is more releases coming down the pipeline, so it's very important that we support these releases. So Shivers from 1976 and Little Monsters will both be released on September 15th. Like I said, you can get those individually for $13.49 a piece, or they will be released as a 2-pack with Shivers and Little Monsters for $23.99, which is a major price drop from what they were before. These were going for $30 a piece or more individually when they were being released. So it appears that they really want this line to succeed, so I encourage people to pick up these releases because they are super, super cool. We have the Blood Diner. These are just a couple of them. Chopping Mall, The Gate. They come with really nice premium packaging and slip covers. If you don't have any of these releases, I highly recommend picking them up. They're amazing releases. Next up for September 15th is the Eddie Murphy comedy horror Vampire in Brooklyn from 1995. This will be $9.99 on Amazon. It doesn't appear that this is like a super collector's edition or anything, but this hasn't been available on Blu-ray. I don't believe at all, and if it has, it's been long out of print. I think it was just a DVD release. So really cool to see this get a Blu-ray release. It was, of course, directed by Wes Craven, written by Eddie Murphy and his older brother, Charlie Murphy. It is kind of described as a horror comedy, but Eddie Murphy especially, the movie definitely leans into the horror, although there is some comedy elements. The effects are great. The atmosphere is great. Of course, Wes Craven is an amazing director, and this movie is super, super fun. It's kind of interesting because this was right before Eddie Murphy did Nutty Professor, and his career kind of never really came back around to like a more edgy direction after that. This was after, this was in between Beverly Hills Cop 3 and Nutty Professor. So this was kind of the last thing he did that was really sort of edgy up until the recent My Name is Dolomite movie. So I really hope he continues to do cooler movies. Also September 15th, there's a lot of collections on this list. Stephen King 5-movie collection. This will be $27.99 on Amazon. So for $5.99, so for 5 movies, this really is a pretty fantastic deal. You get the full Stand miniseries, which is like a several-hour, 5-6 hour miniseries from the 90s, which is super cool, kind of like a weird like plague, post-apocalyptic kind of movie. The Stand, both the first Pet Sematary and the Pet Sematary remake. you'll get The Dead Zone and Silver Bullet. So all 5 of those movies will be included in this 5-movie set. The New Pet Sematary and the Old Pet Sematary do have 4K releases, so if you really want those in 4K, you might want to get those standalone releases. But if you don't need the 4K, this is a great 5-movie collection with 5 movies for $27.99. Next up, from the MVD Marquee line, this is a interesting movie for a kind of a collector's edition treatment. The 2002 Jeremy Renner vehicle Dahmer, which he portrays Jeffrey Dahmer and kind of tells his story. Kind of, I watched this about a year ago. It's a pretty interesting movie. It's really interesting seeing Jeremy Renner play a role like this, but it kind of goes through him picking up guys, taking him back to his apartment, and it's basically a serial killer story. If you're not familiar with Jeffrey Dahmer, he was a cannibal and serial killer in the 80s, and he was a really nasty dude. This movie is a little bit on the glossed over side of things. You'd think a movie like this would be super graphic and gnarly, and it is bloody, but it plays it a little mainstream for my taste, but a lot of people like this movie. There's decent special features on this. There's a commentary with Jeremy Renner and the director. It's a brand new 1080p presentation, 4K master struck from the camera negative, supervised by the director. The director didn't do a whole lot. He's only done a handful of movies. So this MVD just released Split Second with Rutger Hauer, and they do a bunch of cool kind of obscure horror movies and stuff like this. But this is their marquee line, so you can pick that up for $17.99. It's a pretty cool release. Next up, September 15th, Becky from 2020, this year, starring Kevin James and the fantastic Lulu Wilson. Lulu Wilson plays the girl in this movie. Basically what happens is it's a family that goes to this kind of lake house or cabin, I'm not sure, I guess it's kind of a cabin in the woods, to kind of just chill, and these escaped convicts come through, and they're kind of just in a bad place at the wrong time, and Kevin James plays this like neo-Nazi super gnarly guy that's after something that happens to be in the house that this family is staying in. It kind of turns into a gnarly horror version of Home Alone, in which Lulu Wilson's character is kind of protecting her family from the gnarly Kevin James. Kevin James, of course, from King of Queens. This is a really different role for him, but he actually did a really fantastic job. There's some really good gore gags. There's some great kills. It's really a fun movie. I highly recommend checking out Becky. That's $12.99 on Amazon. Not a bad price on that. That brings us to September 22nd. Now, this next section here on September 22nd, Paramount has got the licensing rights or distribution rights to a ton of Miramax catalog titles, or the entire Miramax catalog, I'm not sure, but they're re-releasing a lot of movies that have been for the longest time out of print. This is one of those releases. So 1998's The Faculty will be released on September 22nd. It's going for $14.99 on Amazon. This has like the most 90s cast ever. Jon Stewart, Elijah Wood, Famke Jensen, Jordana Brewster, Josh Hartnett. It's a really fun movie, a little horror movie directed by Robert Rodriguez about kind of it's kind of like an Invasion of the Body Snatchers-esque type movie, where the teachers and adults of this school and this community are kind of overtaken by these alien things. It's super like 90s CGI and stuff, but it is a fun movie. Early Robert Rodriguez movies are always a good time. Also, another re-release from Miramax from Paramount will be From Dusk Till Dawn from 1996. This is going for $10.49 on Amazon. And of course, this was written by Tarantino, starring Tarantino, and directed by Robert Rodriguez, so another one of their collaborations. Super fun movie. If you haven't seen it, I won't spoil too much, but the movie kind of has a really, it doesn't end at the same place it starts. And I know that's kind of vague, but if you've never seen it, I dive into From Dusk Till Dawn and don't even watch the trailer, because it starts out a certain way and ends up a completely different way. It's a super fun horror movie. Highly recommend From Dusk Till Dawn from 1996. Next, also September 22nd, we have some more box sets. So we have the Vincent Price collection from Scream Factory, and this is going for $42.99 on Diabolic DVD, which is cheaper than Amazon, and it's cheaper than Best Buy. Amazon, this is going for $48.99. Best Buy has it for $47, I think. So definitely go to Diabolic if you're interested in this one. It's actually cheaper than buying it directly from Shout's website as well. So this is a reissue. Movies: The Pit and the Pendulum, Abominable Dr. Phibes, Haunted Palace, Fall of the House of Usher, Mask of Red Death, and Witchfinder General. This was out of print and now it's been reissued, so you'll definitely want to pick this up before it goes out of print again. There's also a Vincent Price Collection Volume 2 that is still currently out of print, and maybe they'll reissue that, but for now they've only reissued the first collection. Super cool set. It's still available right now for $42.99 on Diabolic. Like I said, it's cheaper than Amazon. Cool collection of movies. Next up for September 22nd, these are all releases that have been released before but have been kind of out of print, so I won't list every single movie. I'll just put them up on the screen. But we have the Hellraiser collection, we have the Prophecy collection, the Halloween collection, the Dracula 1 and 2 double feature, and the Mimic 3 film collection. And the Mimic 1 is actually the director's cut. So these all range from $14.99 for the Dracula all the way to $24.99 for the Hellraiser collection. So these are super cool. You can find them all on Amazon. So if you've been looking forward to those or didn't know they were back in print, I would suggest grabbing those now before they go out of print again. Moving on to September 29th. We'll see the release of 2002's Ghost Ship from Scream Factory, going for $24.99 on Diabolic. If you don't need the poster, I would suggest going to Diabolic. If you really want the collector's edition poster and don't mind paying a couple bucks more, go through Scream Factory Direct and you can get the limited edition poster. This was one of these classic, kind of semi-classic early 2000s horror flicks. I wasn't a huge fan of Ghost Ship. I think it's more known for the opening scene. The rest of the movie kind of flounders a little bit in my opinion, but it's still a fun movie. It's good for a decent watch. Also, September 29th, we'll see the release of the Evil Dead 1 and 2 double feature steelbook. Both of these movies have gotten 4K releases, standalone 4K releases, but this will be a steelbook with both films and will be going for $27.99 as a Best Buy exclusive. As of now, these are both still available, but these go super quick. I would suggest jumping on these, on this set as quick as possible because it will sell out before it hits the stores. They always do. I don't know how many times they are going to release the Evil Dead movies. This has got to be one of the most repeatedly released movies of all time. I can't believe how many releases Evil Dead and Army of Darkness have. It's just crazy, but here we go with another one. The next and the final release of September, this will be September 29th. This is a massive set, the Blumhouse 10 movie collection. I'll just put the picture up right here. It is a really cool set. Happy Death Day, Split. There's a bunch of cool movies on here. It is pretty high, $69.99, but for 10 movies, it's really kind of a steal if you dig all these Blumhouse movies. The Blumhouse movies, Blum, I don't know, are kind of hit or miss depending on how die-hard of a horror fan you are. Some of them are pretty kind of, normie type horror movies in my opinion. I don't mean to sound elitist, but I'm a big horror fan. A lot of these missed the mark. I did love Happy Death Day. I like Split, and a handful of other releases, but for $69.99, 10 movie collection, pretty goddamn good deal. You can find that for $69.99 on Amazon. And bonus, I just wanted to quickly mention this at the end. At the end of the video, Vinegar Syndrome has released their September lineup of 4 movies. We have Memorial Day Massacre, Killing Birds, Spellcaster, Ladrones de Tumbas. Those are the 4 September releases, which will all be released as collector's editions with limited edition slipcovers. Vinegar Syndrome, of course, is known for their amazing presentation. Their slipcovers, their restorations are incredible. So definitely check them out if you're not familiar with Vinegar Syndrome. They put out some amazing releases. My favorite ones in the past year or so were they put out Rad in 4K. They released Tammy and the T-Rex in 4K. So they're really starting to kind of blow up and get really super cool titles. I look forward to seeing what else they come up with. But yeah, that'll do it for September. Definitely let me know what you guys are interested in, what you thought of this list. I think I curated the best of what was September 2020 horror releases. Thank you so much for stopping by. I appreciate it. And also stay tuned. And also look at my Thank you so much for stopping by. This was my top 20 horror releases. Also check out my top 10 Steelbook releases of September 20, as this will be also dropping today. I really appreciate you guys stopping by. Thank you so much, and until next time, bye.